Yeah.
All right, job 4 for the 49ers, and this is might be job 1. Solve the injury issue. It's really not going to matter if they bring in a pass rusher because he'll get hurt. They could bring in a guard, he'll get hurt. Whatever happens, the Niners are adamant that they don't know why this is happening. They'll say it's
Mm.
not the substation, it's not this and that. But do you think they will actually do anything to address this offseason?
Here's my prediction. I think that they're going to spend less time near the substation, but they're not going to admit that it's
Mm,
because they're concerned about the substation. It may have been Tim Kawakami. Someone came out and was like, we're hearing from the 49ers that the size of their team is too large and therefore they might, go to another practice field. This was about a week and a half ago. I don't know if you saw that. So I'm like, oh,
sure,
that's convenient. You're going to get away from the
sure.
problem, but you don't
Mhm.
want to admit that was the problem. So that's my prediction how they're going to handle
Right.
it. And it's going to be a win-win because they're going to be like, hey, fans are happy. The fans that are concerned about this are now happy. Some of the players that we know have expressed some moderate concerns about this, they're going to be happy, but they don't have to admit that they screwed up by building the field near the
And
substation
they
and
don't,
not.
piss off one of their corporate sponsors in PG&E.
How about that? How about that? Like Grant, that has to play a role in this. Like, it's not PG&E's substation, but PG&E also makes substations and all sorts of stuff that put out electromagnetic frequency. So I wonder if there's any
Can you imagine, like,
conversations.
if Prize Picks were making substations, I would just talk about how much I love substations, that there's nothing wrong with them. Thankfully, Prize Picks isn't
Exactly.
in the substation business, so I can tell like it is.
Exactly. But man,
Yeah,
the thing that sticks out for me with this substation issue is the lack of leadership from Jed
thank you.
York. Like,
That's the main take.
imagine, all right, Grant, you used to work at a newspaper in a newsroom. I did as well. Okay, imagine you're back in this newsroom setting and you're at the water cooler, and everybody that you talk to, all your colleagues and some of the supervisors above you, are like, man, they're working us too hard. They're not paying us overtime. We're working so hard. I'm barely getting any sleep. And this is the talk of the office, right? You go into the
Mhm,
cafeteria, you go to the vending machine. Oh man, we're just working so hard. Jed York, your boss, the editor at
mhm.
this newspaper, calls a meeting. Everybody's in the room, and the first thing he says is, listen, guys, we're going to need to work harder. We're going to need
Yep,
more effort from you. And
yep,
that may be true. Maybe that is the answer here, but you're tone deaf. It's a lack of
mhm.
leadership and a lack of understanding of what your
Yeah.
people are talking about and what they're feeling. And by the way, if I'm a 49er player and I am concerned about the substation, does this sort of silence me a little bit? The leader of my organization is saying there's nothing to this and sort of poo-pooing it and kind of, making it seem like it's a joke and not a
Yeah,
big deal.
imagine
Maybe I
you're
don't feel
you're a
as
rookie.
comfortable.
Imagine you're a rookie on the team or a second-year player in the team. It's one thing for George Kittle to talk about it, but imagine you're 23 and you're trying to get playing time. You're Jordan Watkins, and you're concerned. Are you gonna say anything?
Good
Probably not.
call. Good call. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my
I mean, it's just
frustration.
funny how go real quick, it's just funny how
Yeah.
Jed's like his top players are like, "Look," they're not it's not like they're saying, "This is the reason we're getting injured." They're like, "Hey, it's funny. It's weird. It's a little concerning. We would love the team to take it seriously and give us some more information and really reassure us that this is not a problem." And Jed's like, I'm not even gonna do that. It's stupid."
And his reasoning of, oh, Jerry Rice practiced next to this substation and he did
Okay.
okay, is so disingenuous because, the substation has
So are you
changed over the
calling
years.
George
We're in a
Kittle
different.
soft? You calling McCaffrey soft? Is that sort of what you're implying? I don't understand.
Your top paid players, it's like the way to handle this as a leader would be to have a meeting,
Yep.
pull the guys together and say, hey,
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to hear what you have to say, even if I disagree with it, even if I think this
Yeah.
is BS tinfoil hat stuff. And that's the thing, Grant. Even if there's nothing to this substation, the fact that some of your players, past and present, think that there might be, it needs to become a priority. It needs to be
And the
investigated. It
fact
needs to be
is they
looked at.
can't rule it out. The fact is they can't rule it out.
Yeah.
Here are the
Yeah.
facts. They're the most injured team in the league every year. They can't rule out this substation as being a factor. So it seems like the burden's on them to start tinkering with variables. Don't tell us this isn't it. You don't know what it is. So start practicing somewhere else some of the time. And you probably should think about getting a new trainer too. I don't like calling for the firing of trainers because I'm really not qualified. I'm much more qualified to talk about coaches and stuff. But dude, it's been the same trainer since 2017. I mean, you can't keep everything the same and just cross your fingers and say, we really hope we'll stay healthy this year. No, that's not good enough.
Yeah, they need to turn over every stone, and the substation one is a big stone. And what frustrates me, Grant, is on Twitter, there's so many people who are like closed minded to this idea. They're just like, oh, this is a conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat stuff. There's nothing to this. And like, I'm not, I haven't looked at all the studies, okay? I'm not a science guy, but I understand history pretty well. And when I look back at history through the tobacco industry, for instance, and how they originally used doctors and advertisements to say that smoking products coat your throat. And I'm sure there were scientists speaking up, like the molecular biologist that you had on your show from Princeton, that were like, hey guys, I would like to show you some science over here. And they were probably poo pooed and called conspiracy theorists. We used to spray DDT.
Do you understand how lucrative this industry is? Shut up. Shut up.
Exactly. I think there's interesting parallels between, some of these companies in the tobacco industry. We used to spray children's hair with DDT in school to kill lice. DDT, which we now know causes cancer. And I'm sure there were people speaking up. Rachel Carson wrote a whole book on it about DDT and saying, hey, and people laughed at her and said, oh, that's not what the science says. So I could give you example after example of this. History tells us we should take these things seriously. Now, that doesn't mean it is true just because there's examples of it throughout history, but it means we should question it. We should look at it and have an open mind and not be so dismissive.
Right. And when people say, like, I don't buy it, like, where's the science? What I think so interesting about it is like, well, the Niners have an opportunity to like sort of conduct one of the most important scientific experiments in this field ever. Like, you have a team full of NFL players who are spending a ton of time right next to the substation, like, and they happen to be injured every year.
Yeah.
Why don't you take them away from the substation and see what happens?
I like
what
that.
An incredible opportunity for science.
Yeah. I like that phrase, the canary in the coal mine. Like, what if the 49ers injury situation is the canary in the coal mine for our society as a whole? Because you and I are on devices right now that are, putting out EMFs, and we go on our cell phone, Bluetooth, all that sort of stuff. And so, and we have some health issues in this country, don't we? So,
you got wired headphones right now. I just noticed that. You're actually
that's intentional.
Yourself.
Yeah. That's intentional. I'm one of the weirdos, Grant. I turn my Wi-Fi off at night. And who was it? Was it Kittle or Fred Warner who came out and said that? And people were teasing him about that. Yeah, I'd say
McCaffrey.
Was it McCaffrey?
See, I'm a walking contradiction. I'm over here being like, the Niners have to check out the substation while I'm using Bluetooth AirPods. Being like,
I got the wire. I got the wire. I think the Wi-Fi off at night makes sense because just from a risk-reward perspective, this isn't the 90s anymore. I'm not downloading stuff on Napster in the middle of the night, so why not turn it off at night? And,
what were you downloading on Napster in the middle of the night?
No comment. No comment.
Yeah.
Different time.
Nirvana.
Yes. Oh, never mind. How about that album?
Every year the Niners come up short and they use the injury excuse and people give it to them. Like even this year, hey, I mean, look what they did in spite of all the injuries. Okay, fine. That there's truth to that. But if they do nothing about the injury issue, if they don't move the practice facility, if they don't get a new trainer and the injuries persist, I don't think people are going to give them that excuse anymore. It's like, well, you didn't really address this in any way. You kind of just hoped that things would change, and you're treating it like it's bad luck when we have 10 years of evidence pretty much showing that it's not bad luck. That it's a statistical anomaly, and you got to figure out why, and you're not even trying.
Grant, I'm a big believer in karma, and don't twist my words. I'm not saying the 49ers deserve injuries or anything like that, or I'm rooting for injuries by any means. This is a team that I grew up rooting for. However, I do want to say this. If the 49ers, Jed York in particular, doesn't take this substation issue seriously, maybe they don't deserve that success because it's such low-hanging fruit to take this issue seriously. It doesn't cost money to move to another practice field across the street. It's such an easy thing to address. Now, moving the substation, that's not easy, okay? But addressing this issue can be easy in some ways. The water that the molecular biologist you had on your show mentioned, that's something that they could do. They have, EMF blocking paint that you can put in a facility. If you have money to
buy multiple soccer teams, you have money to fix this. This is
a priority issue.
You don't get to have a soccer team when you have problems with the football team. You got to make sure the football team is good. It's called 49ers Enterprises, not York Enterprises. This
Yep.
has to be solid, and it's not. And the whole league knows. And if this persists, the NFLPA will get involved. I mean, by
And
the end of the season, it was a player a week. It was a punchline, and to the point where the Niners go to freaking Warrior games and the Warriors get injured. I mean, I'm just saying, like, people are hyper aware. They're not
yeah,
gonna. This
yeah.
isn't going away. They're hyper
Yeah.
aware.
And you
Yeah.
think that the agents aren't hyper aware, Grant? We just talked about the whole Joey Bosa contract a little while ago. Oh, it looks like he was offered 12 million from another team. Niners are offering 9. So the Niners say, "All right, we'll offer you 12." You think that that agent isn't saying, he'd like to accept this offer for 12, but we're just a little concerned about the substation, so you're going to need to give us 14 in order to make
It's
this
not
happen.
just a substation, right? It's California taxes. Okay, so
Bingo.
he has multiple offers. He likes the culture you got. He likes you guys have been winning. It's just that he'd make less money in California. He'd have to live in Santa Clara, which isn't LA or San Francisco. And there's this weird thing about you guys being the most injured team in the league every year, and a substation could be contributing to it, and he's uncomfortable because he doesn't want
That's
to be injured.
leverage. That's negotiation leverage 101.
Yeah.
Whether that agent believes in the substation theory or not, he can claim that his player does in order to get leverage and then get a better deal from the Niners and squeeze them for more money. And good point about the taxes. They've already got that working against them in negotiations because that's another leverage point that can be used against them.
It's going to be interesting to see how the Niners dance around this issue. Hey, we're not practicing there, but it's not because we're concerned, but we're not practicing there. I can't wait for that. I love when billionaires try to lie to your face. Okay,